Hello, my name is Vince and I'm currently living in St Paul's, Bristol. So if anybody this side of the panel was to commit any sort of benefit fraud, it's an offence that could result in them going to prison. But we've obviously just seen loads of MPs fraudulently claiming hundreds of thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money. And being a taxpayer, I find that not only the MPs' involvement, but all the lawyers and the bankers that kind of justify their actions to be criminal. What do you think about that?
No MP should be defrauding the system. Anybody who does it should be heavily punished. We've expelled people for doing this from our party, and MPs have got a duty in every constituency to sort this out. And we've now passed a law that requires MPs to be assessed properly for what they're doing. As far as bankers are concerned, I just want to tell you that today we're publishing proposals so that the bonuses of bankers are brought under better control. Some people get bonuses for not really doing anything that is of long-term value. It's got to be of long-term value. Some people are getting bonuses that even when the bank doesn't do well, they still get the bonuses, so there should be clawback. And some people are getting bonuses that are such a high share of the company's turnover that it's a risk for other people who are using that bank. So we want to have rules for that, and we're proposing that there be rules internationally as well as in Britain to deal with that problem.
Hi, Gordon.
Hi,
I'm Soldier from Manchester. How are you? You all right, yeah?
Yeah, it's good to talk to you.
Good news. As you're aware, the UK is currently under recession. How can we fix things, and what needs to be done to make things better?
You've got to make sure in a world recession that people are not penalised, and so you've got to help people get jobs. And that's the first thing that we've tried to do. There is a big choice in this country. Do you help people in a period of this downturn, or you just walk away and abandon people and say it's up to them?
Now, Soldier, how's the recession
So
affected you?
we have been creating jobs.
The recession's affecting me because my parents have been redundant, and
Both parents?
yeah, exactly, and it's hard.
Have they found work again yet?
No.
No.
It's currently on job seekers.
Right.
And the thing is, do you feel like MPs and like other basically big businesses and the high people, kind of say, basically I'm asking, would you jeopardize maybe less on your yearly salary to help?
Would you take a pay cut?
Yeah, to help the recession.
Yeah. I mean, we've frozen our pay, but I think the most important thing is you make a decision as a society, and that's why we've had to raise taxes for people who are very wealthy.
Would you take a pay cut though?
I'd be prepared to take a pay cut, but I think the issue on taxation is that those people who earn a lot more money, right, should be asked to contribute more to help us get through this recession, and that's why we've raised the top rate of tax for people who are on higher salaries, and that is to help us pay for the job creation that we're doing at the moment. See, we're putting £650 million into school leavers to help them get jobs or opportunities. We're giving this guarantee to 18 to 24-year-olds, which we've talked about with some of you, that you will get work after a period of being unemployed. We'll put 10,000 more places in our universities this year. We've got 30,000 more apprenticeships being paid for from the government. Now, all these things cost money, and so we've had to raise the money to do this, and you've got a choice. When there's a downturn and a recession, do you put that money in and do you pay the money out to help people get jobs, or do you do nothing? And we are taking the action to help people.
Now, we have the Prime Minister in front of us, and we want to know, obviously you're getting paid to do your job, how much of a pay cut would you take?
Personally, if I'm not worried about paying myself and my own pay, and I've frozen my pay most of the years.
But how much of a cut?
Well, I don't know. You, if there was an agreement that we could all do it, I'd be very much wanting to be part of that. But I'm not in this job for the money.
Yeah, all right. I got a quick question about gun crime still.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's happening in like a lot of other cities and whatnot, but I'm speaking from a Manchester point of view now. Now, basically now, people do have actions towards gun crime, but it always seems to like it'll be a set period where it'll go down in the way, like, I don't know how to phrase it, but you know what I mean. And then it'll always seem to creep back up, and then it'll seem to be a big problem yet again. Like, I've actually have 2 people that I've lost with gun crime still. So I was wondering if you do, and if you actually do have a plan, what is your plan to actually stamp out gun crime for good?
Yeah, the first thing to do is to know that gun crime is concentrated in a number of areas of the country. You know, there's a number of areas of London, Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, where gun crime is concentrated. So what we've been trying to do is by a whole series of means, including detectors, including underground policing, including surveillance, including action in the schools, is to highlight the problem in that area and to deal with the problem in that area. We've also increased the sentences for carrying a gun, you know, and for using a gun. Obviously, it's a lot tougher. The prison sentences are a lot higher for this.
They are a lot tougher, but last year there were 455 serious injuries or deaths involving guns. Hasn't gone down that much. It was 4 fewer than the year before. What
we're trying to do is to highlight those areas where that 455 is concentrated, and we've got really intensive projects in these areas. And so we're trying to get to the source of the guns. We're doing a lot of work about guns that are coming in from Eastern Europe. You know, they're not, you know, they're coming in illegally from Eastern Europe. We're doing a lot of work with metal detectors, and you'll see arches and so on in some areas to detect metal objects.
Ash, do you think those measures are enough?
In some areas, they're checking cars as you go into the area.
Yeah, they could be actually if they get put into like. If they get brought in efficiently still. But like I said, it's always still going to be a problem where it still creep up, if you get me so to speak. But obviously, hopefully.
You know, it's a bit, for me, guns and knives. In America, I just used an example before, but in America, guns are acceptable. In Britain, they're not acceptable. And it's right that they're not acceptable. And we've got to make sure that every young person knows that guns are not acceptable, and carrying knives in public places is not acceptable either. And we started a campaign, I don't know if you ever saw it, and we had a lot of footballers involved, we had a lot of people who themselves had suffered as a result of gun or knife crime, and their family had suffered, and we got them all in this campaign, and they're going around the schools and talking to people in the schools, because we want to start young in telling people about the dangers. You're not safer carrying a knife, you're not safer obviously carrying a gun, because the danger is it's going to be used. And so that's what we're trying to do. Now, there's organised crime on one side, and we've got to deal with that. But there's this people getting hold of guns and getting hold of weapons and just telling people it's not sensible, it doesn't make sense, it's not the right thing to do, it's not what should happen.
Hi, I'm Fliss and I'm from Bristol. Basically, I'm homeless myself, and I've gone to my local council a few times to see if they could house me, and it's emergency, and like they say I can wait anything up to a week to years, as they just said. And like people like me can fall through the net and live on the streets then for the rest of our lives. How do you think you can help people like us?
Well, we're gonna avoid that. Where are you staying? Are you staying in the youth hostel at the moment here?
Yeah, in London.
And what happens when you go back to Bristol?
I live in my car again.
You live in a car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we announced a few weeks ago that we were expanding the number of social houses that we were building. And there is a big programme of new building taking place, and that's been announced. The money's been put there for it, but there is a big backlog in housing that we need to meet, and that's what we're trying to do.
Why is it that someone like Chris, who's living in a car, isn't being housed immediately?
Because the local authority, I'll have to ask the local authority itself, but they will have a group of people, particularly young children, that they'll have to house in first of all.
Yeah.
And so we have to look at that. But I'll look at your case when I get back.